Welcome to our first episode of The Morning After. My name is SIlva. If you've never heard of me, which I bet you probably haven't, I'm a 25-year-old content creator that focuses on cosplaying and gameplay. You can find me under my tag name Soul Cosplay on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch. I'm also here with my amazing co-host and friend Briggs Got Digs.
Hi, I'm Briggs. I'm 29. You definitely haven't heard of me if you haven't been in Soul's lives before. I'm one of his moderators, and on that note, this is definitely an 18 and up stream, so parental advisory is advised.
Parental advisory, or just don't tell your mama.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
For you who don't know, Briggs and I have decided to create this podcast called The Morning After. It is a completely open forum podcast, so we're here to answer your questions, to tell you a little bit about ourselves, and to touch on those topics that a lot of people don't touch on. Today, we're just going to do a little introduction, so you guys get to know us, and we get to know the kind of questions that you've asked.
The question that we ended up getting was, besides cosplay, what else do you do? And I feel like you should answer that one first, because that's literally what I do instead of everything else. So it's like everything else that I do, and then there's cosplay.
You're like, it's like the last thing on my mind.
I do it, but not well and not frequently.
On the other hand, I cosplay every day and shirk my other responsibilities that no one knows that I have. It's ridiculous. Besides cosplay, what I really do, honestly, is sit on my couch and play Final Fantasy VII. That's been my obsession for the last month and a half, I want to say. Mm-hmm. I've been playing Final Fantasy VII, but also, as what people clearly know, is I stream on Twitch and play other video games. I mean, sometimes I do it in cosplay, but other times I'm too lazy to do any of that.
I mean, that's fair, though. I'm the other side, where it's like I will do cosplay occasionally if I'm like up for it, but I'm almost always just playing a game somewhere. The fact that I have my head out of my computer right now kind of is impressive. I'm not playing Cyberpunk right now, so this is weird.
I've heard Cyberpunk has been very popular. Like, there's still a lot of glitches into it, but
it came out yesterday, like last night at midnight, and it's a whole big deal. The game has been in development for years. And
see, I had no idea.
Yeah. It's a big deal, especially because, like, the tabletop, because that's what I do other than cosplay, is video games and tabletop, because I was one of the, like, I was second in charge of, like, my state's largest tabletop community. Damn. So that took up most of my time before all of this.
I got kicked out of a tabletop, tabletop intro session.
Oh no!
I got kicked out because I wanted to dress up for it, and they literally thought that I was making fun of them when I wasn't.
No,
I just really wanted to be a wizard.
But that's no. Let them be wizards. I'm sorry. That's not what you're supposed to. That is failure on the tabletop community.
I mean, I thought it was kind of hilarious, the fact that, like, I got kicked out for something like that.
Like, how dare you want to be a wizard? It's only a class in D&D, which is the biggest thing here.
Like, I mean, I'm one of the biggest nerds out there. Clearly, like, I've made, like, my job to be cosplay, to be a nerd.
Yeah.
And they were not into it, though.
That's the worst. No. No, it's a lot of fun. It definitely has taken a backseat since, meeting in groups of people is kind of not encouraged. And it going away was why I started cosplaying.
I mean, I'm glad that you did start cosplaying. That way we wouldn't actually, like, be doing this podcast if you hadn't.
That always weirds me out, is like so many weird things have to happen for you to end up in places where I'm just like, oh yeah, no, everything had to dissolve. And then I ended up on Soul's server somehow.
You ended up as, like, one of my main moderators too.
That's just because, like, it's so weird. It's so weird.
If for people who don't know, because I think only a lot of the moderators know that, but the way Briggs and I met is I was doing lives on TikTok, and Briggs just kind of showed up one day, and I think it was she was just cracking jokes.
Yes.
And I actually found it kind of funny, and then Briggs just kept showing, so then we followed each other and became mutuals. And then one day, it was a really hectic live. Like, I think I had, like, over 500 people on that live.
Oh, God, yeah, one of those.
And Briggs was talking about bringing down the hammer.
The mute hammer.
Bringing down the mute hammer. And I decided to make Briggs one of my moderators. And that was, I want to say it was like 6 months ago.
I didn't know that you had done that, though. So yeah. I spent the entire time not doing anything moderator-y until, like, the next live and seeing that I had, like, a little mod tag. And I was like, what is that?
What is that?
I was like,
can
what?
I do things?
What is this? And Mineira's like, it's because you're a mod. And I was like, oh, what? Yay! Like, I get to silence creeps.
But then you followed me to, of course, the Discord server. And now you are also one of the moderators, not only in the Discord server, but also on my Twitch streams as well.
Yeah, you slowly moved into my, like, comfort zone territory.
Yeah.
From the app that I had no idea what I was doing to my comfort zone.
Well, not only that, but you're also an editor on my Twitch streams as well, so you can change, like, the titles and all that stuff.
Which is, like, a whole new, like, interface that I didn't know existed, but...
Right? It's weird.
It is.
But that is how we came to know each other, and I think we make a pretty good team, a good enough team to do this podcast together.
Yeah. I'll just keep cracking jokes every time I get vaguely uncomfortable. It'll be fine. It'll work.
It's only when, like, the guest stars come on.
Oh, God, it will be. Like, every time I'm just like, hi, I don't know you. So here's a pun.
I actually, like, mentally prepare all the people I've talked to become my guests.
Like, all right, listen, if there's silence, she's gonna crack a pun. It's just gonna happen. Get ready.
It's gonna happen.
Bad jokes. Just laugh. It'll be okay.
Speaking of, like, uncomfortable, Cecilia also left a question in our
yes.
Little question submission, and she wanted to know our most embarrassing stories.
Oh, okay. I don't know about you, but I actually had to think on this one.
Did you really?
Yeah. Because I have
Is
two.
it because you have two? I thought it was because you had too many.
Well, because one of them encompasses an entire day. And the other one is just one, like, I don't know, like 10 minutes maybe max of the most awful embarrassment ever. And I couldn't decide which was worse.
It's like embarrassing for you or just embarrassing for everyone involved?
Embarrassing for me, specifically. Which is hard, because I have no shame.
This is a pretty much shameless stream.
It's just like, it takes a lot. That's not true. I have incredible social anxiety. I will overthink everything I say later, but not when I'm saying it. All my embarrassment happens at home, in the privacy of my apartment.
I mean, yeah, same here, though.
I'm just like, why did I do that? But, alright. Well, what did you think of? Were you able to, like, think of, like, one moment?
Honestly, I have a couple of embarrassing moments. Like, I can't, I'm pretty sure I blocked out everything from, like, the age of 18 and, like, before that.
Okay, yeah.
Like that trauma.
What's that?
What's that? We don't know her. But, like, of course, there's been, like, some... I'm 25 now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 25 now, so I've been out into the world. I've done some stupid things. I have so many embarrassing stories. But the thing is they're not really embarrassing for me. Like, yeah, I have, like, a little bit of shame about them, but they're not embarrassing for me. They're more embarrassing for the other person.
Okay. This one time I made someone else's embarrassing story happen.
I mean, It's true.
Okay.
Like, if you think about it, so I had just, like, gone through a breakup, and my mom, which I go out with my mom often,
which is so cool. It's like everyone, like, I didn't have that kind of relationship with my mom, but for reasons, but it's just like, oh, you get to go out with your mom? That's awesome.
I go out with my mom, and because she has fun, I have fun. And that's just kind of how our relationship is. And then we kind of wrapped Blaine into it too. For
Your
you guys
brother.
who don't know, Blaine's my younger brother. He turned 21 in February, so we've been kind of like, whenever he can go out, like whenever
He's 21.
Open. He is 21, yeah.
I forget that you guys are babies.
I'm like 4 years younger.
You are a baby. You're the age of my little brother. You are a baby.
I am young, but I've done so many stupid things in my life that have been happening.
This is good. We're the opposites. It's fantastic.
I think that's how this works. But I don't know if I should tell you the embarrassing. Like,
do it.
Like I said, I don't really have embarrassing stories for me, but I have embarrassing stories that I've invoked on other people.
Okay.
Like how a 38-year-old dude got told off by a 23-year-old himbo, which, aka that's me, in Las Vegas, of no other place.
Oh, okay.
So literally we were, I don't know if anyone knows this, but literally Las Vegas, like most places, is legal for weed, but they have different kinds of dispensaries. So we ended up going onto the Strip and finding a dispensary. I don't smoke weed myself, but the people I with did. And right next to it there was a Sonic.
Well placed.
Right? So he wanted to go home like right after getting their stuff, but he was kind of being a little bitch about it. Like, he was literally going, well, it's not safe in this part. If you don't like listen to me, I'm going to take an Uber back home myself. You can't protect yourself in this area. And my cousin and I were like, dude, we really just want chili dogs. Like,
I'll take an Uber home myself. Please do.
Yeah. I literally stood up. I was like, I am not a child. You do know that, right? I have been able to take care of myself since like the age of 17.
Yeah.
I was like, you take that goddamn Uber home and quit acting like a little bitch. And I told this, literally, I called him out like this in front of my cousin, her two friends, these three strangers that they just met, and the girl that he was sleeping with at the time.
Oh boy.
Granted, this dude is like 38 years old.
Yeah.
And so his pride just took a fucking hit.
Yeah, because, you know, I don't get the age thing, but...
Yeah, like, the older men get, for some reason, like, the higher pride that they have.
Yeah.
But he's like, well, it's just, I'm trying to protect you. I was like, I don't need your goddamn protection.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. If you think I do, then something's wrong with your brain. And literally, he's like, well, no one else wants me to take an Uber home. And they're like, we do. We do, though.
Why would you offer if you didn't want to do it?
Right? Like, he didn't even offer. He's just like, I'm going to take one without you. It's like he was saying it as a threat. Like, we couldn't afford our own Uber.
Okay.
We're like, all right, dude, fucking go. You didn't even pay for this trip here.
Yeah.
So he took the Uber home, and then a couple months later, I was at this bar, just hanging out with my cousin and stuff. And he comes up to me, and he's like, you know, when I first met you, I thought you were really a bitch. And I looked at him, and I was like, well, a bitch knows a bitch. And he's like, you're trying to ruin my respect for you, aren't you? I was like, I don't care if you respect me or not, dude.
Like,
I don't.
Your first mistake was like thinking that I cared. You assumed that I cared.
Your first mistake was thinking that I thought about you. Like,
fair.
Like, I didn't think about that dude the rest of the trip. I thought he disappeared after that. I was like, cool, whatever.
No.
Like, I thought he did, but he literally is like, oh, I respect that for you. I was like, dude, what do you want? What do you want from me? Like, but so I ruined his pride. And then I ruined the pride of a one night stand I had as well.
Oh no.
So it was back when I had just broken up with a person, and my mom took us out. This is where I was starting earlier, is my mom took us out, and this dude showed up, and he was one of those guys where, like, you can look at him and you're like, I can have a conversation with you, but I know it's gonna be stupid.
Yeah, like, my IQ's gonna drop. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, like, the things you are gonna say are going to annoy me to death. But I was really upset at the time, and he was cute, and I was like, okay, I can score with this. But so we were out there, we were out in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, at this strip of bars, because their main street was pretty much all bars. And we go to this bar called Crafted, and he's trying to like make out with me in the back alley.
Always classy.
Right. And I literally told him, I was like, no. And I slipped inside because two of the employees like walked out. I slipped inside, and they kicked him out.
Oh no.
Right. And this is where my shame went up, because I ended up still going home with him. But if I hadn't, I wouldn't have had this hilarious story, and I wouldn't be able to tell it now and crush that person.
You know who you are.
He literally is like, we're like in his bedroom, and I don't know who he lived with, but he like lived in like this, like, he lived in the basement of like a house, like it was a fully furnished basement and stuff. But he lived in like the basement, and guys, I hope you realize that this is pretty much like the top of Idaho. Like, this is what Idaho has.
This is like peak
unless you
Idaho.
marry some like, yeah, unless you marry like some rich judge or something, like, but like, we were making out, and this dude's a biter, like, fucking, I don't know what he was trying to do, if he was trying to like suck my blood or do something, but he was biting.
Oh no.
Yeah. And then he literally goes, he's like, tell me you love me.
No, what?
And I'm like, excuse me?
Bitch, you're lucky if I remember your name. What?
Right. I was like, excuse me? He's like, tell me you love me. And I was like, I don't know you. Like, you know how girls are always like, you don't know me.
Yeah.
Like, that weird flirting. I'm like, I don't fucking know you, dude. Like, you're creeping me out. And stuff. And I should have, like, left right then, but I didn't, because, you know, sad and, like, wanting validation or whatever. So we ended up doing it 3 minutes. It was 3 minutes long.
Oh no.
3 minutes.
Oh,
and
buddy.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't even that long.
Oh, buddy.
And like, he like literally pipes up at the end. He's like, I'm kind of mad you didn't get off. And I'm like,
whose fault is that?
I was like, excuse me. I was like, I'm sorry. Are we calling people out here? You one pump chump? Like,
I was gonna set my stopwatch, but you were done before then.
You were done before I could press start. I was livid.
Oh no.
So I got up. I literally got up out of bed, and he's like, well, are you gonna call me?
No.
I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, you gotta be crazy if you think I'm gonna call you.
Oh my god.
Before he could say anything, I ran out of there, and I called the Uber, and the Uber was just pulling up as I was coming out, and I ran towards the Uber. And the Uber driver was literally like, I've never seen someone run to my car.
Get me out, get me out, get me out, get me out, get me out.
I'm like, get me away from here as fast as possible. I never want to see that person again.
Oh no.
And that same night, literally the same night, like the night before, when I was like gonna go home with him, his friend tried to kiss me and make a move on me too.
Oh god.
And I kind of did that like duck and weave.
The finger gun's equivalent of dodging a kiss. Good job.
Yeah, like he literally was like, he bought me a drink, and I don't know what he thought. Like, I was being nice and talking to him, so he thought that he could try to give me a kiss. But I literally like I ducked and like I weaved away and like as a snake, and then I kind of just like walked away from him.
I wish I had those reactions because that would have saved me. It wasn't embarrassing. It was just annoying. Getting made out with by a stranger in Vegas.
Oh my god. What?
Because it's me. I'm damn well. I'm Demi to the point of frickin' ace, right? Like it is. I don't pick up clues. I have no game. You have to basically hit me over the head. I have an example of this, and you can laugh at it, but not embarrassing stories, but fucking weird. But at this instance, I'm one of the few people. At this point, it's a bachelorette party in Vegas. We are a group of like 12 women with no guys. We got tableside service and pretty much anything we wanted by just showing up. And so we were on the Parisian like rooftop club. The Paris.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we were up there and it was fine. It was going fine. There are a lot of drunk women in their, oh God, I was 23. And so everyone else was like 28, 32 in there somewhere. And there's a whole lot of my coworkers who I'm friends with dancing on tables.
Oh my god.
and so these are all like the hot nerds because software engineer, right? So these are all of the very attractive, and because I don't know why, but we were kind of like, we were the only ladies who worked at this tech company, frankly. And they're all gorgeous women. And so it's all of us. And there's me being like a little tipsy, mostly hungover because all we've had for the last 3 days is alcohol, no water.
Right, as you do in Vegas.
What?
I said, as you do in Vegas.
Right? Yeah. But it's like my main source of liquid without alcohol were those like yard-long margaritas because those had the lowest alcohol content I could get my hands on without listening to everyone complain.
Oh my god.
And so I'm like dehydrated. I have a headache. I am thirsty. I am drinking the mixers that they brought for tableside service because we got it for free. Like,
oh no.
I'm like, this is my act of desperation. I want a vodka cranberry, hold the vodka. And oh goodness, what was it? So I'm sitting there and I don't dance well. All of my friends are dancing up on top of the bar. Like they have these like walkways where they're really attractive waitresses will come by and like walk by and give you shots. Or they'll be on stage. And it was kind of stormy, so they didn't have anyone up on stages. And all of the waitresses kind of stepped off and were up there. So all of my friends were up on these tabletops, dancing, swinging on poles, having a blast. Someone at some point dragged me up there. And I don't know how I somehow always end up on like a surface while sober. I don't understand why. I'm a pushover at bars, apparently. But they're dancing, everyone's having a great time, and there's kind of the storm going on, lightning strikes, and so everyone has to get hauled out of the rooftop club into the interior. Mm-hmm. And so they give us the nice little like inside table room, and I'm trying to keep track of everybody because I'm a little concerned because they're all super hammered and I'm not drunk enough to not be worried. And I'm sitting there like, okay, this is fine. We end up hanging out with a guy who said he'd been broken up with by his fiance.
Oh my god.
So just a newsflash for anyone, your Aunt Briggs will help you here. When a dude tells you that he was broken up with on his honeymoon, he's lying.
If a dude tells you that he's broken up like within a day or two, just run away.
He's lying. He's like, yeah, we had our honeymoon to Vegas and she broke up with me. And like, we remembered his name. And we're like, oh, okay. And like, we saw him and his best man was there. And he's attractive. The best man was not that attractive. It's fine. But everyone's kind of flirting. he's the supposedly broken up with fiance is hanging out with the fiance of our group, and we're like, let's fucking watch that. No, thank you. We're trying to like get in between and distract them a little bit. Everyone here, by the way, is engaged or married except for me.
Oh God.
And they keep looking at me like I'm supposed to play goalie here for an entire bachelor party.
That literally would never work. It would never work.
You want the ace single person in this group to distract the bachelor party? Okay. But I'm hanging out. I'm trying to like talk with them and just chat because I'm too sober, and the best man ends up sitting next to me, and we're just talking because I can't I'm getting overloaded, and I'm just like, this is fine. And I'm sitting there, I'm drinking cranberry juice, I am chatting. I looked good. Everything was great. And we're mid-conversation, and he goes, hey. And I look over at him, and suddenly my entire mouth is inside his mouth.
Oh my God. Oh my God. No. Oh my God.
And I'm just like, it took me a second to register what was happening. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've seen a Bob's Burgers episode of this before.
Yeah, like the horrible kissing.
Yes. And I'm just like, you are too drunk to figure out where my mouth is.
No. Oh my God, no.
And finally, like, he eases up and tries to make out. And fortunately, to the bachelor party's credit, they hauled his ass off and were like, no!
That's bad.
Shame. You should have asked. And I was like, you shoulda.
Oh my God. That is just, it's so disturbing.
And you're just like, why? Just, you could literally, if I could play a sound, it would be nom nom. Like, that's not how that works.
It's not, and I don't know what makes guys think that that's what people want.
No.
It's just like their face all up in their grill for no reason. Like they haven't given them any signal to like.
No, like mid-conversation.
And they're like, hey. Like, that's how I pictured that.
Well, and then there are all these, like, drunk ladies who looked at me and gave me the thumbs up.
No!
And I was like, we talked about this in the jacuzzi. This is not okay.
Dude, I legit, like, my trip to Vegas was not a happy experience. It wasn't. Like, I feel like if I went with, like, people I known better, then it would have been much better.
Yes.
But I remember drinking so much because we spent a week in Vegas.
Oh, that's too long.
It's too long. And I am a pretty heavy drinker. Like, I can hold my own.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had been drinking for about, I think it was like 4 days straight.
Yeehaw.
And we were staying at the Golden Nugget.
Okay,
the luxury hotel on Fremont Street. And we decided we were going to be bougie and we were going to rent a cabana on top of the Shark Tank.
Oh, I know this. You kind of mentioned this story before. Yes.
So it's a fucking, I don't know. It's like a Saturday, I think. It was Saturday, Friday or Saturday. It was like a couple days before we were supposed to leave. Mm-hmm. And literally I was so hungover and still kind of drunk. But my cousin wanted me to go to the cabana with her. Like, we spent like $400 on this stupid cabana for like 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up passing out on the couch in that cabana for the whole 6 hours.
Oh, God.
Like,
at least you got a nap.
Like, I'm just dead. And, like, it was like 102-degree weather because we were there in June.
Yep.
And I'm just dying sweaty on this fucking couch. And I'm a pale-ass ginger. Like, I cannot sleep in, like, heat or, like, in the sun. So I'm just sweating. And I just wake up feeling sicker than I was before.
Oh, no.
And, like, my cousin's like, you know what will make you feel better? If you drink more.
No,
And I was like, God, no.
No, thank you.
And I ended up drinking more. And then the next day rolls around. We had to be checked out of the hotel by like, I think it was like 11.
Mm-hmm.
Our flight wasn't until 10 p.m. that night.
Oh, God.
So we went to the Strip.
Of course.
We went into the Gucci store.
No.
And security followed us around.
Oh, no. Oh, well, because you had all your bags and stuff.
My cousin, speaking, had over $4,000 in her wallet at the time.
Oh, jeez.
She had $4,000. She was going to go in and actually buy something Gucci.
Okay.
But they had security and the manager following us around, giving us the side eye. And I get it. Like, it was just four hungover people in their 20s.
Yeah.
Wandering around a Gucci store in, like, their shorts or whatever the fuck we were wearing at the time. But he's like, the manager comes up. He's like, can I help you buy anything? And my cousin legit is just like, no, you can't. And we
Never
walk out
mind.
of the store. Like,
Oh.
and this dude has like literally the largest pompadour. If you've ever seen Groose from Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, he literally had a Groose pompadour.
The pompadour.
And we're like, oh, so you're the one to judge us, are you?
No.
I was like, are you fucking serious? Like, my cousin was gonna buy something Gucci here, and you're just gonna follow us around like we're gonna try and steal something from Gucci. Like, we're gonna try to steal a $1,500 shirt because we can try to risk that. I was like, you're stupid. You're so stupid. And I work in retail. And so like, I know, like, I know, like, if a person's pulling off, like, shady behavior and stuff like that, we're trained in it. You're not supposed to judge a person off of what they're looking like. And I've worked retail for many years, and I work in Ulta that sells fragrances, prestige makeup, and those high quality things, you know. And we're supposed to like pay attention to how they're acting, not what they look like. But that leads us into our next question. It does. Audie asks us what our biggest pet peeves are.
Oh, actually, no. I know mine like right off the bat. Yeah. And it's actually like it changed how I talk with people like a lot because it was done so often to me. People talking, not like talking over. Like, I understand people talking over each other. That happens. It's fine. What gets me is when someone intentionally cuts you off mid-sentence and says what they want to say and then doesn't try to bring the conversation back around.
I totally understand.
I hate it.
I totally understand that. Like, legit, it's happened to me so many times, and that's why I don't join a lot of group calls either. Is because, like, everyone will be talking at once, and then, like, you'll either be saying something really important, and then a person will just pop off. Either my problem is when it's with something random.
Yes.
Like, when it's something that didn't even involve the sentence, they just pop off with random, and then they keep going about it.
Yeah. No, mine was always like growing up. My grandmother, not a nice lady, would always like, you'd be talking like it's a group conversation. My mom, my grandma, and I sitting in the kitchen. My mom would ask something in general or say something, and I would try to talk, and I would say something to her, mid-sentence getting cut off. And my grandmother, because you're the child, you should be quiet when your elders are speaking.
Same.
And so would cut you off, say what she wanted to say, and then carry on. And it's
same though, absolutely same.
It's like, what? That's not how that works. Like, that's not how any of that works.
It's really not. It's not how any of it works. And it gets me. Like,
yeah.
Especially when I don't like interrupting people. I hate interrupting people, and I feel so bad when I do it.
Yeah.
But like I'll be talking one time, and then the person who interrupts me, it causes me to just end up to stop talking. And so like they keep going, and then like they're the ones interrupting me, but I feel like I'm the one who has to apologize.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, maybe I wasn't saying something interesting enough. But that's what gets me is when I'm saying something and then a person just like straight up interrupts.
Well, and it's like sometimes it's
When they
okay,
could've
right?
waited.
Like I get talking and people like you're all on the same topic and your brain is going, but it's like it has changed how I talk to people. Where if I notice someone in a group call gets cut off, I'm like, I'm only going to point you out until you say what you were saying.
But same though.
Yeah, like I
Like,
let them talk because I'm loud. I know I dominate a conversation. I'm going to use that superpower for good.
when you realize that you're the loud friend.
I've grown up knowing I was the loud friend.
The funny thing is I was the quiet friend. I was. It all throughout high school. I was the one that lived in my other friend's shadows.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm literally the loud friend. Like everyone, like I think it's because I've grown up. Like I've created this community and stuff. But I'll say something, and then usually at least one or two people will respond to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's really strange to me.
Like, you're listening? What?
I'm like, you're hearing what I'm saying?
Bizarre.
I've kind of just come out and like having this own confidence, like where I am the loud friend. I have a loud personality. I was just hiding it this entire time.
Yeah, I've always been very loud. It's just been loud in different ways, I guess, where I used to be obnoxious. And now it's mellowed into, yes, I can carry this conversation on my back for us. This is fine.
I can go for hours.
Like, just give me the brick wall and tell me to go.
Well, and it's literally like one of my pet peeves, though, speaking of conversations, one of my pet peeves is one word replies.
Oh, God, yeah.
I hate one word replies. And I've told all of my friends this, that if you give me a one word reply, I will not respond. I will not respond because I do not enjoy feeling like I'm the one who has to carry the conversation. And I've done it before. Like they'll give me a one word response and I won't say anything back. And they're like, where'd you go? I'm like, I've told you. I've told all of my friends, like, if you give me a one word response, I'm not going to reply to you. I constantly feel like I have to entertain people. And if you're my friend, you should at least put the same amount of effort that I'm going to have a conversation with you.
Yeah, and that's always, like, really rough whenever you put effort into something you're saying and you just get, like, K back. K kills... Oh. If I just get back the letter K... the amount of rage...
It's K, and then on Instagram, it's just the like. Like, this person liked your message. I'm like, I sent time to send you a message, and you just liked it. Like, you couldn't even say thank you or, like, anything.
Like, I've dealt with enough, like, I have enough introverted friends where, like, the liking something, I've gotten over it because I'm like, okay, you were stressed out and you didn't have anything to say. Fine, that's okay. If it's like an image, if I send you a picture and you like it, I'm good. It's fine. But
oh yeah, that's fine.
Like if I tell you a joke or if I like write something and you just like it, come on, man.
It's not a good feeling.
I took my time with my own two thumbs to write that.
My own hands.
I wrote this.
Like, it bugs me, and it's bugged me for years. Like that we put in so much effort to have a conversation with someone, and I get not wanting to talk to someone or something like that, but I would honestly rather be left on red than have just a one word reply.
Yeah, I don't know. I think my social anxiety eats me alive either way. Because, like, always been the loud friend. I am constantly terrified of, like, oh, no, you talked that person into the ground and they can't stand you. Like, that is the constant state in my head of, like, oh, no, you talk too much. Like, that's constantly the thing going. So I'm like, if they dislike me or they give me a K, it means I've talked too much and I must be quiet now.
I have to silence myself.
Got you. That's the sign. I've gotten too excited. I will be quiet.
Well, and that's one thing that like I'm hoping that this community is going to help with for a lot of people, is that they have a place to talk.
Yeah.
Like, I do get tired sometimes where it's just the constant streak of good mornings and then nothing else. But like, this community is where people can talk.
Yeah.
They can say whatever they want. We have plenty of freaking channels to do it on our Discord.
We have all the channels.
Literally all the channels.
All the things you could possibly think of. We probably have a channel.
Right? And stuff. And I wanted to have the community where they can talk. And like with this podcast ourselves, like we can like have them interact with it.
Yeah.
And tell us topics and tell us like an embarrassing story that they've had or one of their biggest pet peeves as well.
Yes. And actually getting to like react to that would be really fun. Just like,
Yeah.
oh, that's horrifying.
Like, that's horrible. Like, so we encourage you, like, if you join our Discord under this little cosplay server, there's topic related stories. There's a little channel for that, and you can relate to your topic related stories of last week's podcast.
Only way that you get honestly flirty Briggs.
Okay, first of all, love flirty Briggs. That should come out more often. I get it though, because I get very flirty too. And it's ridiculous because I get flirty and then people like they take it as me coming on to them. Like hardcore coming on to them. And I'm not doing that. I'm not coming on to you. I'm just flirty.
Yeah, I'm always just oblivious, so like a lot, I just don't have a good radar. And I should save the story. I should save the story of oblivious Briggs, but
I mean, it works. I mean, we want to get to know you. We want to get to know the real Briggs.
Yes.
Like like who are you as a person?
Who is the Briggs? The Briggs is a weirdo.
Is that your superhero name? The Briggs?
No. The Briggs. Yeah, no. Oh god. That just means I'm in jail a lot. Like, worst superhero name ever.
No, it could mean that you are the jail. Like,
that's my superpower.
yeah, like you instantly can like
ability.
snap and the person's in jail. Like,
yes. Oh no. That would be no, so my name, we can do that. That's funny. And that actually, it plays into pet peeves with people trying and not returning the effort. So my name, my handle comes from when I moved away from my family. I moved across the country for work. And so I'm in an apartment alone for the first time in my entire little life. And oh god, it's this really, really nice apartment. My dad was obsessed with getting this like the premier apartment for the entire place. So it had like this balcony with like the numbers that were the apartment complex's name just like on the balcony, and they would light up and like flash rainbow all night. And I had this massive balcony downtown.
oh my god.
And yeah, it was excessive. It was like a little like 1 bedroom with a like, I guess they called it a den. It was basically a second bedroom, but without like a good door.
And it cost like way too much money.
Door. Oh yeah, no, it cost way too much. And everything was, I moved in before the apartment was like completely finished. I was the first person that moved in. It was me and the really hot anesthesiologist down the hall. Which, is fun. But it also meant that it was super unorganized.
Yeah.
And they had us filling out our own mailbox information.
Dude, I still do that.
The apartment complexes I lived in after never had me do it. They would just be like filling out who had which mailbox, write your name.
That's what we have. We write down our name and stuff.
And basically, had this really nice apartment, and they had us filling out our own like names on the boxes. And I was just like, that seems weird, but I've never had an apartment before. Okay. And I have horrible handwriting. So I took my time, and I was very, very, very careful on writing out my whole name. And it was very legible. I double checked, and I handed it in. And spoiler alert, my real name isn't Briggs. But that's
Really?
what the mail person put on my mailbox.
Wait, really?
As my first name.
Briggs.
Yeah. They wrote Briggs instead of my real name. They got the first letter right.
Right.
But that was it. And they wrote Briggs, and I was like, that's kind of funny.
It's a little funny.
So it became my name. It was like Briggs, and I have Diggs. It's my first apartment, and it was kind of like that and a play on this old website called Dig It, that my mother loved. So I was like, all right, this is fun, and I became Briggs Got Diggs freaking everywhere.
I mean, it works for you. It works. Like
it's vague. It's good. I like it.
Right, it works. Like we all refer to you as Briggs. Because we do. Like that's the first thing that comes in.
It's caught on, and I like it because people can like pick the name to call me very easily.
Right.
Where you get some handles or you're like, where do I cut that off?
Right. I just end up calling you Briggs. Like it's Briggs.
Yeah.
It's easy.
It's hysterical. Someone's laziness led to a handle that everyone calls me now.
I enjoy it, and it's kind of funny way to get your handle too. Yeah. Like and it's all across the board, isn't it? Like you have it for everything.
Oh yeah, it's everything. I think the only thing that didn't, and it's really funny, is my only like weird claim to fame was being like one of the cult leader, not actual cult leader, like RP runners for Gaia Online.
Okay.
That was my claim to fame. I had a following on this ridiculous RP website.
Dude, I had a following on Amino, and it was ridiculous.
On Amino? Really?
On Amino, I was part of like this one like roleplay community, and they straight up made me like one of the curators, like one of the ones that enforce the rules, and I had over like 600 people following me from that community.
Oh wow. That was like, they didn't really do followers, you could only do friends, and I think most people were scared of friending me. So I had a very select group of friends, but it was this like core group that basically had an automatic in for any of my RPs. But I was one of the alt-lit, so the, advlit. So advanced lit groups on Gaia, because that used to be a category.
Right.
And, I was that nerdy. I was on that much, and I had a following where I would make very select short character group RPs, and they would fill out within maybe an hour of me making them.
That's actually pretty cool, though.
It was really fun, and it's like it fed my like I'm a writer need, but it's you can't really explain that to people.
Right.
And that was like my old handle that I used to go by, and everyone used to call me it, and it stopped after I picked up Briggs Got Diggs. And it's really weird, and part of me is like, should I go back to the site and change it?
I mean, if you never use the site,
I kind of want to leave it and just let it live there and not come back.
It's there. That's it. It's done. I roleplayed on Amino as like different characters that we would come up with. And that's one thing, like, I didn't ever, like, tell people that I roleplayed on Amino. Mm-hmm. the one thing that I've learned about Amino is like your reputation in different communities will follow you. Yeah.
Oh, really?
So if I was in one community and I did something, which I was a notorious like role player, and I went to a different one, they're like, "Oh, my friend knows you. I know you." I'm like, "Okay."
Oh God.
And I stopped doing that when I was like younger. But it like that was the one like thing that started me on like social media, and then I ran into TikTok. So
yeah, that was, I had done Gaia and that stuff, but yeah, basically just it was always like a really weird, like I was there when I was younger, like 12, 13, 14, in there, when I was like super into anime culture and I was kind of involved in all of that. And then I outweebed myself. I got so tired of it and so sick of it, being annoying and being loud and like not. I was the cringy type of nerd.
Oh God.
And it was like in junior high, and everyone has that one phase where you were too much of something, and then you hard left it. You're like, no, I'm never doing that again.
No more.
And then I left Gaia and I came back, and that was when I got really popular. Was I came back and I was much more mellow and in like my 20s. And like, yes, here are these actual, like, I was an English major for a long time and was in creative writing. Here is an actual thought out RP plot. Let's go. And
that makes more sense.
Where it was like older, and then Gaia died horrifically, so badly that it's in textbooks.
Right.
So
so bad that
it is. They ruined their own economy so badly that it is used as an example of inflation in textbooks.
Oh my God.
And it wrecked the site. And I think I just slowly transferred over to writing fanfics and stuff like that. And no, that was when I was a teenager and cringy as hell.
Gotta love those fanfics.
Oh God,
though.
yes. I still write. I have writer friends now that are like trying to encourage me back, and I have to do it.
I say you're never too old for fan fiction.
Oh no,
even if you write it quietly.
And it'll definitely be a lot better now that I'm older and less.
That's like someone's claim to fame is if you have a fan fiction written about you.
There has to be one. Like, there has to be one with you.
There is actually.
There is?
Yeah, there is. I won't call them out, but I have it on my Instagram. There is one written about me.
Oh my God. Okay.
It's not like anything like super long or something, but it's a really sweet little fan fiction. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's someone's like claim to fame is if you have a fan fiction written about you.
I'm legitimately frightened of Wattpad for that reason. Like
Wattpad is absolutely like asinine. like
I'm classy. I'm on AO3.
See, I used to write on Wattpad. I wonder if I still have my logins actually. Hold up.
Okay, so you've done the whole you've been creating stuff for a long time, so you can probably relate to this. Especially on like TikTok. Mm-hmm. Have you seen someone who goes through all your like really, really old stuff?
Yeah, I have.
Isn't that disconcerting?
I mean, it's not.
Okay.
It's at one point it's flattering because like they want to see like your early stuff. Mm-hmm. It's when they get into like the old stuff.
Yeah.
Like when they get into like the early cosplaying.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh,
where I'm at. Yeah. It is embarrassing when people know that you're doing this.
And it's flattering when someone wants to wants to like watch a lot of your content
Yeah.
and goes back farther than you thought a person actually could.
It's happened to me. Happened to me a few times with like my old fan fiction and stuff where I had a little bit of a following on there. It never got huge, but I will occasionally still get pings where someone has read through the entirety of what I wrote.
Really.
And like they will go through and you can see when they like things and when they favorite things and when they save things and when they leave comments. And it's so bizarre watching someone go back to like this old, like it's an old anime that I was writing fan fiction for.
Mm-hmm.
And watching someone go back to like this pretty much dead fandom and go through all of your fanfic history that you wrote and like all of it.
How did that make you feel?
Panicked.
Panicked?
Very, very panicked. Because, like, oh, God. I'm just sitting there, like, I guess not panicked, but a little bit like, can I help you find something that's actually good? Like, this is the author that you seem to like. I'm here to tell you that I wrote that when I was 16. It's 13 years later. Would you like something actually good?
Right.
Which
can't even get into my old Wattpad. I don't.
Can I actually access it?
That's the question. Can I?
Well, and it's. Well, maybe. I feel bad because I feel like the last thing I ever wrote was, and I will forever admit my folly here. I left a fanfic unfinished. And I left. And I never came back. And I never wrote another thing. And occasionally, I can tell when someone doesn't look at the dates. And they make a comment. And they're like, I can't wait for the next part. And
you're like, I don't.
It's 16 years later. I can't remember what this story was about. I can't remember where I stopped. I can tell you everything I did wrong.
No, it's like you start writing something and then a person goes back and they see it and they're like, oh, this is actually really great. And you're like, eh.
Well, and it's like I left them intention. Like I've thought about it before, like going back and deleting old stuff because like everyone thinks about doing that, and sometimes it's a good thing to do.
Right.
I haven't because I was like, that's a good mark for like how much I've grown. And like, yes, I'm embarrassed by it. Yes, it makes me cringe. Some of them, I think there's like 2 in there that I'm actually kind of proud of that I'm like, at the time, I did really, really well. And it's like, oh, I would keep those. But I'm like, you should keep the ones that are bad too. Like, I can think of one in particular where I was like, that's bad.
That's one thing. Like, I don't delete a lot. The only ones I delete a lot are like the ones before I started cosplaying. Like for video wise, because
yeah, that makes sense.
When you start something like TikTok, I feel like you have to hit you have to hit something, you know?
Yeah, like you have a genre.
Yeah, you have a genre. And I found out that my genre was cosplay. Like that's what it was.
Were you into cosplay before TikTok?
I was a little bit. I was starting to get more into cosplay. Okay. And what happened is I saw some makeup on Pinterest, which I feel like Pinterest has died out as well. But
a little bit, yeah.
I saw some pictures on Pinterest, and that's where I really actually got interested in the cosplay world.
Okay.
I wanted to do makeup like that. And in my beginning cosplay, like my practice cosplay in the beginning years, I actually tried to do makeup like that. When I found out it does not work for me. Like the heavy actual anime looking eyeliner and all of that stuff does not work for me.
Mhm.
I prefer like the more realistic looking and like cosplay.
Yeah, no, same.
Uh,
Like I'm always impressed by people who can pull it off because
absolutely.
holy cow.
Absolutely, like they pull it. I've seen a couple people who can pull it off so well. But I can't. I'm not one of those people. Can't do it.
Yeah.
But I started trying, and one thing about me is I've never really stuck to anything in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I played piano for the longest time, and I ended up quitting after like 13 years. I've never actually stuck to something. I've never had a hobby that I've really been interested in.
Yeah.
So about 2 years ago is when I got my first wig for Christmas. Well, not even 2 years ago anymore. I think, yeah, two years ago, 2000,
Okay.
like the beginning of 2019 is when I got my first wig. Bought it myself. Had no idea what I was doing. Tried to style it. Watched like a bunch of tutorials on how to style wigs. Nothing really helped. But I was determined not to give up.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I did not want to give up on this. It was something that I wanted to do, and I did not want to just throw it away like I threw everything else away.
Yeah.
So I kept practicing. And that was about the time I discovered My Hero Academia as well, so I decided to like cosplay those characters. This was before the fandom got really toxic.
Yeah.
So
or
I
at least
decided,
really, really insistent.
yeah. So I cosplayed Kirishima. That did not turn out well.
Kiri.
The wig, I still had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea like how to style, how to do makeup, or anything like that. And the videos are actually still up on my
start
TikTok.
looking.
They are, if you scroll down far enough, they are still up.
Okay.
But then as you start going up, you see that I started practicing with more characters. I actually still have the original version of my original character, Jeizuki, up to this day.
I think I've seen those because I was trying to figure out like context when I was trying to join the tag.
Yeah, no, I still have them up. He looks completely different than he does now.
He does.
But the thing is I kept sticking with it, and I think I kept those videos that I have to inspire me to do better.
Yeah, and it's a good like point of reference, and like it's really hard to see growth in yourself, I think, unless you have those markers.
Right. And that's one of the things is I tell people, like, keep trying to improve yourself. If you don't like something, remember how it looked and try to improve it.
Yeah. Which is so freaking funny because like I came from it the other side. I literally like quarantine happened, and so I got bored, and I decided very similarly I never keep a hobby. Like I go through phases. I have obsessions that I have, like I get hyper focused for long periods of time, and then I just vanish. And I was like, all right, that's enough. And I got TikTok, and I'd always liked cosplay. And I'd grown up doing costuming.
Okay. So it kind of fits in.
Yeah, and so, well, and like I loved the character design aspect of cosplay, and that's what got me, like, I would keep tabs of things, and I'd be like, oh, that's a great way of interpreting that costume. That's really cool. And would, like, look at that. No idea about wigs, no idea about makeup. Very uncomfortable in front of camera. I was always the person who would do all the costuming. And I decided that this is something that pointedly makes me a little uncomfy. And you always drop things because you fear, like, I have an absolute fear of failure. Like, it is bad. And I'm like, you're gonna make a TikTok account and you're going to start cosplaying on a public freaking forum because it makes you uncomfortable and you're scared of failing. And you're going to keep doing it.
Right.
Because you can get over a fear of failure. And that was the attempt. I have not uploaded in a very long time. But I did for a while. I did. And I'm like, okay. And I still intend to go back. And it's important.
Mm-hmm.
And I can look back and see stuff where I'm like, oh, that was good. Oh, that was awful.
Well, and I think it helps a lot is that you do have other people who have the same hobby as you now in your life.
Yes.
Like, you have people like myself who upload every day.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, people who kind of understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, like, you have people who have the same hobbies, and when you have a bunch of people that have the same hobby, you eventually find, like, bits and pieces that other people have that you can relate to, where it's like, hey, I'm also terrified of wigs.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you too? And they're like, yeah, no, I can't do it. I can't do it for shit. Like, oh, and you're good at this. Thank God. Okay.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I suck at wigs. Like,
oh, shut up.
No, like, the thing is like, I struggle, but my perfectionism will not let me stop until it looks good. Like,
that's the difference is the perfectionist in me sees one mess up and says, well, you ruined it. You failed again. Throw it out. And then I leave.
I have only thrown away one wig in my life.
The fact that you said that is the only reason I have some of these wigs still.
Well, like, and the thing is, my outlook at it is, if your wig does not work for the cosplay you were working on, it will work for something else.
Yeah.
Like, you could use it, if it's really messed up badly, you can use it to make a glued hairline for a hairline on a wig that you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
You could use it for extra waifs or something like that. Like, you do not need to throw...
It can be parts.
Yeah, like, you literally do not need to throw away something that you spent your money on just because it didn't turn out for the cosplay.
It's been really interesting, like, seeing other people, like, actually doing it and, like, being in a community that actually is actively doing something. Because, like, tabletop and being in the group I was in, it is, but you have a group that's super into something you're doing, but it's a very insular group, and it's, like, 5 people. 6 people that are in, like, a group, and you love this one thing.
Right.
And that's fine, but they're also very involved in what you're doing.
Right.
And I feel like that makes it harder. Where
Absolutely.
It's a community of people who are, like, just vibing and doing the same thing, but kind of separate.
Well, yeah, like, we're in a community together, but we encourage each other, but we're not always, like, you can still continue to do things without us.
And it's like, that's been really cool, because that's, like, I can choose to be involved with other people and go and do other stuff, and that's awesome, and other people can be involved in the same tags and interacting, but they don't have to, and nothing I'm doing is going to mess anything up for anyone else.
Right.
And nothing anyone else do. I'm halfway through most of this mostly rum lemonade. But, like, anything anyone else does doesn't have to affect anything I'm doing if I don't want it to.
Right.
And it's nice. And it's like, I can turn around and be like, okay, how the hell did this person make the wig like this? Soul, how do I do this with makeup? I tried it and I looked like a skeleton. That wasn't the intention.
Well, there's been times definitely that I have done makeup tutorials for people to follow, like my everyday makeup that I wear. For people to follow. Yep. And I've had people message me like, I totally tried your makeup and I looked like this. Or
I was one of those. It's like early days. I was like, Soul, I did your thing, and I looked like a hot dude. It's weird. Yay!
Like, that's like part of the community. Like, if I'm, like, part of our community is it may be a server that's under my name, but it is for cosplayers.
Yeah.
Like, every single one of them is a a cosplayer or someone who's looking to be a cosplayer.
Or just involved in general, which is still really cool. Like, I didn't realize there were so many people, like, peripherally involved with cosplay. Like, oh, you're just, like, the photographer part of me just gets so excited.
Yeah.
I don't need a squeaky toy right now, thank you. But, like, oh, there are people who just photograph cosplayers. That's cool. I didn't know that was a genre. If I knew that was a thing, I would have had a very different career path, because, like, I've got the professional camera, or somewhat professional camera, and a lot of experience under my belt, but I got very bored.
You should totally bring it when you come to visit.
I will, and I'll be very rusty, but
fine. You can witness the horrors of me having someone else take my picture.
I mean, I feel that in my soul. I always disappointed my photography teacher, because I got awards in high school for photography, and that was really cool. But I always disappointed my photography teacher because he always wanted me to be involved in the lessons somehow. And so he'd be like, okay, I'm going to show you how to do this one thing. And if he knew I already knew it, he'd be like, we're gonna have Briggs be the model for this.
Right.
How badly I posed. I had to try. I had to have been trying. Like, you could not get a good photo of me in any way.
You can't get any good Canon photos.
No. They're like, okay, like, we're going to put you here and we're going to play around with light. Okay. Hey, Briggs, just, like, do this. Be like, okay. And no, it never... And they're like, okay, relax your shoulders. They're kind of up to your ears. Okay.
Hey.
Can you not sit like a dead mannequin, like just a limp mannequin? That might be better. And it's like, I don't. How you can take the photos that you do, I don't know.
All of the photos that I have taken that are on my Instagram right now, I have taken myself. Like,
even then, though,
I legit, like, everyone's like, oh, you're so photogenic. I'm like, no.
You don't know how many takes this took.
Like, I'm just like, like, I've seen some people who are way more photogenic than me. Like, my two best friends, absolutely ridiculously photogenic.
Yeah.
I am not when other people are taking pictures of me, because I have a very weird head shape. That's what I'm gonna call it. Did you
don't understand my angles?
It's true, because I have a nice jawline. I do. I'm gonna toot my own horn for this. I do have a nice jawline. But people like to take my pictures from the side when I'm not paying attention, and it does not turn out right.
Being fair, no one's side profile comes out well unless they know what's happening.
That's the problem. Like, I never know what's happening, and they just take the picture. And
no.
But I've managed to take all of my cosplay photos that are on my thing, or on my social medias, myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know how to angle my phone and make it look like I'm a decent looking person.
I can do that part. I just, like, because you say that, but you have a lot of interesting angles on your Instagram where, like, I feel like I have one direction that I tilt my face and I look cute. I have just this angle, and that's what I have.
Well, the best part is I also have my ring lights, and the ring light that I have actually came with a remote that can hook up to my phone and be used as, like, a little clicker to take the picture. So I can actually...
I think mine has a remote somewhere in here, and I just threw it into a corner. It was like, meh.
Yeah, I think mine's right here. But yeah, it's just like this little red clicker that hooks up to my phone, and it takes the pictures for me. So I don't have to, like, run around, try to, like, pose before the timer stops and everything. Like, I can just do what I need to do. My favorite right now is taking outside photos. Like, I
Yeah.
love to take my outside photos.
Well, interesting backgrounds and cool like props and stuff like that, and just being outside is
Well, I have a really pretty backyard.
yeah.
And so I like taking them outside, or at least during like the winter, I like taking them like with the snow and stuff.
Yes.
But that brings us back to like the roundabout where when I started cosplaying, I had no idea how to take a photo.
Yep.
No idea. I did the basic girl photo with my friends where it was like up in an angle, cheek to cheek. Here we go.
Yep. The selfie of every party ever.
Yeah, like that person that you're taking that picture with is your best friend, whether you know them or not.
I just met this person, but
Here,
let me put my face on yours.
let's smile cheek to cheek. Here we go. But that's how my thing is. I was such a basic person before I started cosplaying. Like legit. I was barely into anime. I think one of the first animes I watched was Black Butler when I was 21. And that's when I started like getting more into anime and cosplay.
Okay.
But I almost quit. Like a while ago. Because I just felt like I was not getting better.
Yeah, well, that's fair. Like when you don't see improvement, it gets really hard.
But the thing is I was improving.
Yeah.
But I was comparing myself to other cosplayers.
That's really hard to not do.
Yeah, it is really hard to not do, but it's also very dangerous.
Like I feel like that's like you have to be careful because it's good to have like someone that you like look at and you want to achieve something.
Right, but if you're comparing yourself to like one of the cosplayers that have like millions of followers that look really good in all their cosplays and for some reason they're all the best, and you're just here with like a wig that you have no idea what to do with, it can be very dangerous. It can be bad for your self-esteem.
When you don't know like what to do, because you always forget like how much you had to work to get something done, and then you never apply it to them.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, like you've worked so hard to achieve what you're doing, but you never think about how hard they worked to get what they're doing.
It's like they had probably the same, unless they had some really interesting circumstances, they probably have the same experience of like panicking over a wig or doing makeup and then looking at it and being like, oh hell no.
Right. And I've come to realize this, and this isn't me like tooting my own horn or anything. This is just my experience that I've come into, is I've had a lot of people message me and they're like, I want to be able to cosplay like you, or I wish I could cosplay like this, or like I wish I could cosplay, but I'll never look this good. And
don't know until you try.
Exactly. And it's like I know they're trying to say like I'm good at cosplay, but it's also kind of disheartening to see like a person comparing themselves to me when they haven't even gotten to try yet.
Yeah.
Like they haven't gotten to see how good they are or see their improvement, when I've been someone who works literally day and night on cosplays and will not stop until it's good. So it's something like I don't want people to ever like have to do, comparing themselves to another cosplayer, especially for a person who's done it for a long time.
Yeah. Healthy to have goals, not good to compare.
Yeah, it's one thing to have goals like, hey, one day I want to do a cosplay with you. So let me practice so we can look great in the cosplays. That's one thing. The other thing is I'm just not going to cosplay at all because I will never be at your level.
Yeah. Well, like, just because that's something that I'll, like, speaking from the you're gonna fail, don't even try perspective, it's so hard to not do that. Because, like, you put on a cosplay, like, oh god, I'm trying to remember one of the ones that you've done. Let's say you've done Howl. Let's say I want to do a Howl cosplay. And I put it on. And I do my very, very little best. and it does not look as cool. I get wanting to be like, well, fuck it.
Right.
But that's not fucking fair. That's the first time I've ever put on the damn cosplay. Like, that's not... And it's like, it could be the first time you've done yours, but you have, like, how many hours of experience and how many, like, times have you done something similar? And it's like, that's not fair. Stop it.
And not only that is you have to take in the amount of time, like, how many times have I failed?
Mm-hmm.
Like...
And you don't see that because it's like...
Yeah, you only see the outcome, but, like, how many times have I failed at styling a wig? Or failed at creating the costume wrong or the makeup? Like... That's one thing that people do not see with cosplayers. Unless the cosplayer is very
like
involved.
The photos.
They see the photos. They see the videos. They see the after fact. Like, but...
Which is part of the reason your lives were really fun, was because, like, there have been a number of times where you'd done a look and then I just remember you stopping and being like, no, absolutely not.
I've done it, too. And that's why I liked doing my lives, because a person could watch me get into this cosplay that I'm very excited about, and I look at it and I'm like, no, I don't like it. I'm going to start over. And you've seen me do it more than one time per live.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'll just...
I think the max is you've gone through 3 characters. Or one of the same look twice, and then, like, a fuck it, different character.
Yeah, because I could not handle it. And that's what people don't see. Like, they don't see the cosplayers struggling to make it look right.
Yeah. It sucks.
And it upsets me when, because it makes me feel like if a person does not try to cosplay because of how I look, it's selling themselves short.
It's like, don't do that, buddy. Don't do that to me, buddy. Don't put that on me. You try.
Like, what I want to do is I want to inspire someone.
Yeah,
like,
not deter.
Right? I want them to look at my cosplay and be like, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that cosplay. Because I am not the most fit person. I am not the most attractive person. But when I put those cosplays on, I feel completely different.
I feel it's a confidence thing too. Like, I feel like a lot of people don't account for, like, they're gonna feel uncomfortable in a cosplay for the first time where you feel very comfortable in yours. And that reads on camera.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's another thing. It's like, you might do an immaculate job on your makeup the first time, but if it's your first time cosplaying, or even like your 10th time cosplaying, you're gonna feel awkward.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm in a silly costume in my bedroom. This is weird. yeah, it's weird, but eventually it becomes normal.
It's normal, and then you'll turn out like me, who has an entire room, an entire office dedicated to cosplay. Like, it happens, and then I have like my filming area and everything. Like, you get into a role, and then suddenly it's not a chore. It's not something that you're awkward about. This is your life. Like, this is something that you do every day. It's part of your routine. You feel good about it. You're going for it. Like,
and actually, this might be a good place to segue and get our last question if you want. We have our last question, which was, when quarantine is over, is there anywhere you want to go? Because there were a lot of cons that were canceled.
There was a lot of conventions that were canceled.
And it just got me thinking about it.
There was a lot of... It's depressing because there was KatsuCon and it got canceled, and that's even next year.
Yeah.
Honestly, when quarantine's over, I would like to go see Cecilia again. Which, of course, Cecilia answered in the Discord.
Me.
That I want to go see her. But Cecilia is one of my best friends, so I would like to go see her. I would also like to travel to Norway to see Janine. And then eventually I want to plan a trip to like South Korea.
Go. there were 2 trips that were planned for me. And it was a bunch of my old college friends, the old like tutor crew. We were all gonna go to South Korea. We were going to go to Seoul, which was a huge plan because he was one of the guys was born and raised there until he was like 13 or 11. Was raised in Seoul, Korea, until he was about 11. Then he came to the States, and we're gonna go with him. And we were like super psyched for that. And then, you know, trips got canceled.
Right.
What was the other one? Oh, my ultra nerd moment. I was going to Beakeline.
Beakeline?
Beakeline.
Where's that?
It is the largest North American LARP.
Okay.
So my transition was costume design to D&D to LARPing to cosplay. It was really how that arc went.
Like an anime LARP.
For reference, it's in Quebec, Canada, which we obviously cannot go to.
Right.
I was learning French to go. At least some like minimal French. And they had about a 3,000 person battle.
Holy damn. Holy damn.
It's massive. I have like a LARP bow sitting behind me, the whole shebang. I think I cosplayed the character that I was going to bring to Beakeline at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And did the whole thing. And that, man, after the Rona is gone, man, I just want to go. I just want to go so bad.
That honestly sounds like a blast. Like, I've never been to a LARP.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a week long, and it's kind of it's a LARP light because it's a week long.
Okay.
Because you get people who are there just to have fun and treat it like a Ren fair and aren't really all that in cosplay or not all that in costume. Mm-hmm. And then you have people who are super into it.
I just want to know that if I went, if I could go in my character Sin, and be just that imp, that brothel imp.
Oh hell yeah! Oh hell yeah! Yeah, it's related to like a website where they have like a whole lot of other stuff going on. Basically, it runs down to once a year, all of the stuff that goes on this website. If there are like battles or anything, they get moved to and actually happen and decided in person.
Wow.
At this huge plot of land. And during that week, you're also you can have like off like non in character camps and stuff like that, and like it's in like this off area, but they have in character camps where you try to like keep everything looking like D&D medieval,
right,
as possible. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think that would be super fun for like our group to go to.
It would be a blast.
Like, I know that a lot of us are into like the like role playing. They're also into like, of course, the like Renaissance kind of looking things in the fantasy. So I think that'd be a lot of fun. It'd be a lot of chaos for us, cool. But
oh god, and it's like you have to go with camps. Like there's a group that takes Americans to it, because you kind of have to like belong to the website. You have to be on the website and be involved, and they kind of walk you through it.
Right, which makes sense.
It's crazy.
I do want quarantine to be over.
I do,
but I want people to actually start taking it seriously. Like,
every time I see someone who can't wear a mask over their nose, I want to scream. Meanwhile, I'm over here buying like really pretty masks. Like
I can wear this on Thursday.
Like, come on. And on Wednesdays we'll wear pink. And it's like
it's you can just tell the difference of a person committing to it and like wanting to see the world change and like following along to a person who just does not care. They think it's fake.
The people that think it's fake, to make it somewhat lighter, did you know that candles, like scented candles, are having like a swarm of bad reviews right now. Scented candles are getting a swarm of horrible reviews right now. And most of them revolve around how they were quarantined for having COVID and how these candles have no scent.
Wait, what?
They're like, I wanted to make my house smell nice because I'm stuck in quarantine for 2 weeks because I might be sick. And these candles have absolutely no smell. Now, I don't know, Karen, but it might be the Rona.
Not only that, it might be that you're so used to the smell that you already, like, cannot smell it.
God.
Like,
and they're like, I bought this and I can't smell it. And it's like, that means you're sick, honey. That's one of the symptoms.
I can't smell.
Loss of smell. I can't smell. It has to be the candle's fault. Like,
that's so dumb.
But yeah, if you look on Amazon, all the Yankee candles, because if you can't smell a Yankee candle,
something's wrong with you. Like,
something's wrong.
Wait, I have to look this up.
But yeah, Yankee Candle has a lot of bad reviews.
I have to look this up.
Mostly from people not being able to smell.
See, new COVID side effect, bad reviews for scented candles. It's literally the first thing.
It's real.
Wait, we have to read some of these. All right, let's see if we can. One of the ones says, waste of money. I purchased 3 of these. What a waste. There's virtually no scent to these all. If I wasn't confined to my home because of COVID, I would return these for sure. That was from someone who appeared to know she had COVID. Okay, so I actually pulled up some of these.
Oh no.
Yeah, I pulled up some of the reviews.
Okay.
So this person is not one of the people that complained, but it was one of the jokes they had. It says, there are angry ladies all over Yankee Candle's site reporting that none of the candles that they just got had any smell at all. I wonder if they're feeling a little hot and nothing has much taste for the last couple days too. People commented back. Yeah. They said, you have COVID. One of the major symptoms is loss of taste and or smell. I guess you can't smell it. It said, oh no. And he goes, honey, you can't smell it because you have COVID.
Oh no.
A Yankee Candle before.
Yeah.
You can smell a Yankee Candle from far away. It's not. No, obviously, it's never like the best.
You would know that you can smell a Yankee Candle.
So I've seen some Yankee Candles that just were not good.
It's not always good.
I'm pretty sure they had like an outdoorsy one. I have a Yankee Candle actually out in my kitchen right now. I'm looking at the one I have right now.
I'm just staring at it. Yeah, I have a few that I inherited from my aunt, and like I keep them because I inherited them. So I'm just like, I feel bad throwing these out.
Yeah. So maybe it was like just they were saying like the candle didn't smell good, but also it was every comment I read was someone who mentioned COVID. They had mentioned it, and
like,
you're like,
they're stuck inside because of it. Something had COVID involved.
Yeah.
But they can't smell this candle.
There's also a tweet and said I couldn't walk past this tweet. Here's some fun datas, and it's send a candle, an unexpected victim of COVID-19 pandemic. And it's literally just all of the candles I had purchased since the beginning of this to now. And how it's saying like all of those candles do not have a scent.
No.
And it is hilarious. I feel like I need to post this so people can look at it.
Hey guys, this is what we found out today.
Candles, the unexpected victim of COVID. What are you gonna do? I mean,
oh gosh, the more you know.
Oh my gosh. But that rounds out the last question we had for the night.
Yeah. With a weird side tour to COVID candles.
COVID candles. Buy yourself one.
You might not smell it.
The ultimate test of how to find out if you're healthy or not.
Oh my god, it's like having like potpourri for the plague. We're really coming right around circle to the plague. We really are.
It works. So this is the part of the podcast where we're rounding the end. Since this is our first podcast, what I kind of want to do is tell it like a couple facts about ourselves, and explain what the future of this podcast is going to be. What you guys have noticed is that we are cosplayers. We also have decided to start this podcast, and we are doing it every week. For this podcast, it is an open forum for cosplayers for pretty much any, I want to say any generation underneath the boomers. I mean, if you're a boomer, go ahead and listen to it too. I don't care.
Whatever floats
right?
your boat.
It is an open forum podcast, so we do want to hear from you, and we have agreed that we will not spare anything. We will tell you our secrets if it's in moderation. You know, if it's not, we just won't talk about it.
As long as it doesn't get me fired.
But we'll also have special guests on this podcast as well, other cosplayers that you may know or you may not know, along with some Twitch streamers and just kind of other content creators that we want to include and we want to introduce to you. It is every Saturday morning is when we're posting it, hence the name Morning After. We also have a little tag in the Soul Cosplay server, and eventually we will have probably our own Morning After server. If you guys want to speak about the topics that were discussed the week before, and if you want to talk and ask questions to us, go ahead and join in that so you can. And then this is posted on YouTube every Saturday morning. Other than that, Briggs, do you have anything to say?
No, it'll be actually really cool getting to hear some of their input. We'll probably drop some topics down and get some, if there's things that you can think of that you want us to talk about, let us know, because some of your questions are really, really fun.
Absolutely. If there are topics that you want us to discuss, we have a topic suggestion in our Discord. If there's questions, you can ask pretty much any kind of question you want. Like I said, it is an open forum. We will be answering the questions along with the guests that we have as well. So we really hope that you guys love to interact with this and kind of listen to it when you're getting ready or resting on the weekend. I think that brings us to an end of our first episode. You guys can check back in next Saturday. We actually have our first special guest next Saturday as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, yeehaw.
I'm going to bring in one of my good friends, Noble. If you guys don't know, Noble is a cosplayer, mainly found on Instagram and TikTok. And they are just an all-around sweet person. So they are going to be joining us next week to take a couple discussions. So I would say look them up, ask us questions, ask them questions, and we will see you next week.
Later.